In 1965, Northwest 200. Yes, I finished third in the 350 class. I made a good start and I led the first lap till Church Corner. And Church Corner, it was a perfectly dry day, a lovely day. And when I went to Church Corner, I was in the lead. John Cripper was behind me. Tony Woodman, the American, was third. I approached Church Corner and I got a front wheel slide. Didn't know what caused it. My feet come off the footrests, absolutely out of control. I was as good as off, and I got it under control. It was just a bit of luck. And Cripper was behind me, and he said to me afterwards, he says, I was waiting to see where you were going to fall off till it got past you. But anyway, I managed to get her under control again, and I was still in the lead, went up on the Black Hill. But during that time, I thought, what give me the slide, the front wheel slide, and I decided the forks were leaking oil because the road was perfectly dry, as I thought. And let me see, Cooper went sort of in below me, and Woodman went in below me, so we was third going out of Black Hill. So as far as I was concerned, the oil was in the tyre, and it really detuned me. I've been far better and stopped. But anyway, we carried on to the third lap, and on the third lap, Tony Woodman, the American, he crashed at Henry's Corner and was paralysed. And John Cooper went back, was in the lead then, and I was second. I went into the, yes, that was the third lap, and I passed John Cooper down the straight again, and I led right till Black Hill. And I wasn't riding the way I was in the first lap because of the oil in the tyre. I didn't want to fall off. And John went past me at Black Hill again. And with me riding slower and Tony Woodman out, John Cooper's speed in mine was a lot less, and we're eased up. And Dick and Billy and Ian McGregor and all the rest of them, fitting on them all, were all behind us. But Joe Ryan, I think I heard, give Ian the signal to get a move on. Ian wasn't with us just close enough, but he did get a move on, and on the last lap he caught us and passed us. Ian won the race. John Cripper was second, I was third, and Robin Fitton was fourth. And 2 seconds covered the four of us. Later in the day, I was at an entry in a 250 Honda, production Honda. And I was last away, made a bad start. I'd only started in one cylinder until I went into Henry's Corner, and it chimed in 2 cylinders then. I got round the corner, but I was absolutely lost. I went up along a prom. In those days, the race went through Port Stewart. There was the rest of them were all away, and I bunched them up away out of the town a bit. But anyway, there was a lot of power in the Honda, I have to say. And there was a space on the right-hand side, maybe 4 feet or so between that and the curb, and I headed for it, and I almost connected Bill Smith. I seen Bill Smith in front of me, but he pulled over because somebody was blocking him, and he pulled over unknowns. Didn't know I was coming up behind. There are no mirrors and these things, so we actually touched streamlinings, and I had to lean my body over to the right to miss Bill's elbows and things. I caught them sort of one by one and got past them all. Only Tommy Robb. Tommy Robb was riding a works Baltaco. I only had 1 lap on the bike. I was only allowed to do 1 lap on the bike. I was told to do 1 lap and pull in, which exactly I did. I did what I was told. Anyway, I got going in the race, and I wasn't familiar with the bike. But on the last lap, Tommy was in the lead, and I caught him somewhere. and I was leading at Metropole on the last lap, but not by a big enough margin. I would need to have had a few 100 yards on him because Tommy was a much better rider than I was, and he actually outrode me around the bendy bit, around the shore road. But I finished a second behind him, and had the fastest lap of the race. 67 northwest. It was, from memory, it was a good dry day. I was in the second row of the grid, and Billy here, McCosh, was in the front row. And my bike started first time. I bumped it and I side saddled it, and Billy was still pushing. And my front wheel hit his left boot. Remember it well. I had to apply the brake, jammed the brake on, stalled my engine, and the rest of them got away. Got my bike going, and that was that. Away I went, but the boys were all away in front of me. And I come round in a very low position. I was 21st round in the first lap. And when I went into the last lap, I was 7th. I got a signal, I was 7th. My brother Harry signalled me, I was 7th. So anyway, there was 4 riders down the straight after you go to Port Stewart. And the first one was Chris Conn on an Aramaki. I passed him. The next one was Dan Shorey on a Petty Norton. I passed him. The next one was Tom Dickey on a Norton, and Ron Langston on an AJS. And I passed the whole 4 of them, not very quickly, but 2 or 3 miles an hour. I had a lot, my bike was going well. And I was third at, from 7th at the pits, I was third at Milburn. And I was able to keep 3rd place right back round to the finish. And I finished 3rd. The race was won by Fred Stevens and Hannah Patton. Malcolm Uphill was 2nd on the Norton, who was a very good rider, and I was 3rd. But when I went up to the finish to get my prize, they wouldn't give me the 3rd place. And I asked them why, and they said you were a lap behind. And they didn't award 3rd place at all that day. But 3 weeks after it, they sent me the 3rd prize, but it was no good to me. The 1960 Carrowdore was a very enjoyable race, and as it turned out to be, it was my first scratch win. I enjoyed it right enough, and as Billy says, he led 9.5 laps, but it was the last half lap that I wanted to lead, and it was, I suppose, thanks to Bobby Ferguson, who Billy had already passed, outbraked him, but Bobby decided that he wasn't going to let 2 young boys on 350s beat him. So he rode hard, and he out-accelerated us out of Postman's, or out of Castle Corner, going up the straight to Postman's Path. So he passed a pair of us at the one time, and I remember he waved with his left hand for Billy to get in behind him, because he knew Billy better than me, and he wanted to tow Billy away from me, but I didn't really approve of that at all. And I said to myself, now I'll get tucked in here, and I get tucked in quicker than Billy did, and Bobby drew me away from him. So I rode hard, and after Bobby, towards the finish, there's a bump, and just when you land again, you have to negotiate a very fast right-hand bend to get the flag. So over that bump, the lower laps always knocked it off to keep the front end down, but on the last lap, I didn't know how close Billy was to me, and I said to myself, if I knock it off here, he's going to pass me. And I rode hard all day there, and I'm going to lose the race. So I kept it flat out, but it was nearly to my cost, because the bike went right into the air, and it was vertical. And I eventually got it down right enough, and I had trouble getting around the right-hand bend. But it was very satisfying.